And this time we will move on to our next session, where the head of department from the Ministry of Culture and Innovation of Hungary, Dr. Gergely Pálmai, will introduce us some of the instruments that are enhancing skills development for the labor market here in Hungary. Dr. Pálmai, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to me to be able to present to you a part of the Hungarian vocational education and training system. Hungarian vocational education and training system is based on strategic partnerships, and we believe that without strategic partners, we could not be successful. In 2019, the new Hungarian VET strategy was finalized and adopted. The new strategy and the new laws adopted by the Parliament and the government totally reformed our VET system from 2020. The principles of our VET strategy are as follows. First, VET system should meet the economic expectations. Second, learning should become independent of age, contributing to lifelong learning. And third, with the two training stages, our aim is to postpone the final choice of VET profession. As in the first 2 years of the training program, depends on the types of schools, VET pupils receive sectoral basic training. Their basic skills or competencies are well grounded and really strengthened. This contributes to a better choice of a profession and decreases dropping out and early school leaving. The 4 pillars of the Strategy 4.0 are the following. In order to attract more pupils into our pathway, a modern, attractive learning environment is a must. This means infrastructure as well as educational methodology becoming more and more digital. It is very important to provide a successful career opportunity for pupils. To reach this, the VET qualification system was simplified, became more clear to understand, and now providing around 180 VET professions instead of the past, more than 700 professions. Learning pathways towards higher education were also eased, which means that VET is not a single opportunity anymore. Trainers and teachers, as main actors of education training, have to have up-to-date skills. For this, new measures were introduced in order to attract more trainers from the actual industry and from companies. Compensation of disadvantages is the 4th pillar of the strategy, and clearly it contributes to the inclusivity goal of our system. New programs were launched, as well as the scholarship system was renewed. Here you can see the scheme of the Hungarian VET system from the view of the labor market stakeholders. And now I will present their tasks and the relevance of our cooperation with them. One of the elements of the reform was putting the emphasis on dual training. Vocational training begins after the first 1 year at the vocational training school, meanwhile at the technicum after the first 2 years. And according to the general rule, vocational training must be organized within the framework of dual training. Here you can see the basic definitions of dual training in Hungary. I would like to mention just one element of it. During the dual training, the company's task to teach the profession. Basically, there is no separate theory practice part. It is uniformly the company's responsibility to import all knowledge. And here you can see the advantages of the dual training from the view of the student and from the view of the company. It is beneficial for the student because they become familiar with the technologies used in companies, learn the corporate culture, have better job placement opportunities, and receive a salary. And for the companies, it is beneficial because they, in a long-term way, they have workforce development. In the short-term way, a student participates in the production. And financially, vocational education training is rewarding because they have some tax discounts. This is how we try to involve more and more companies to participate in the dual training. And there are the numbers of participants in dual VET. Green is the student status. It is green or it is blue. So between green and blue, let's say, and orange is the adult training legal relationships. And remarkable that during summertime, the number of students has dropped significantly and then rises again in September, while there are no such large movements in the number of adults, which is quite normal. Adults have no summertime, but students have. So another very important question, where does the content comes from? The content of the curricula, what we should teach in our VET schools. On this slide, I would like to highlight the VET Innovation Council. The reconciliation of national strategic issues of vocational training takes place within the framework of the VET Innovation Council. The Council, as a national body, prepares professional decisions, reviews, and makes proposals, assists the minister responsible for VET in the performance of his duties. And now let's take a look at the role of the Sectoral Skills Council. The Sectoral Skills Council consists of representatives of the economic operators, the given professions and sectors, and their task is actually to propose the output requirements of the vocational training and education. They operate in 19 sectors. We have listed them all on this slide. And within these 19 sectors, more than 330 economic operators participate in these 19 councils. It is also important that the ministry responsible for vocational training and education is also represented in each of them. These sectors fully cover the professions listed in the official profession list, which is actually a government decree in Hungary. And we have recently amended the rules so that higher education now also delegates a member to each sectoral skills council. So what are their tasks? They provide expert opinions on training and outcome requirements, the duration of the vocational education, make proposals on content of textbooks and other study aids, the definition of the list of professions, the operation of the training system of the VET, and the definition of the professional content of basic sectoral education. And they also prepare forecasts to plan and define the short and medium-term development directions and goals of our VET system. Higher education is another very important strategic partner of our VET system. And the product or result of our cooperation with higher education is the certified technician training. In Hungary, as I mentioned, we have two types of school, and the technicum is the type of school that gives you a school leaving certificate or graduation, as well as a vocational qualification. So it is basically possible to continue your studies towards higher education. But we wanted to make technicum more and more attractive, and the result was the certified technician training. This is a type of training delivered in professional cooperation between a technicum and a higher education institution. Here you can see the cross-section of the training. The white part is the most important part. This one. Because this is the content that the technicum and the university have developed together. In many cases, the university teachers give the lessons in the technicum school. What are the advantages of the certified technician training? The additional education content is integrated into the training during the vocational education after the choice of the profession. Up to 30 credits can be recognized by the university, thus shortening the duration of higher education studies. It is also important to note that participants in such courses will benefit from preferential scoring in university admissions. And that's why the numbers are growing from the point of view of vocational schools, universities, sectors, and students as well. But of course, it is important to have quality insurance, and the quality of training is guaranteed by the rule that a ministerial permission is required to start a training like this, cooperation with the higher education. So let's move on to the micro-credentials theme. The micro-credentials are documents certifying the learning outcomes obtained by a participant following the completion of a small number of units of learning. For example, it may be possible for a previously qualified car mechanic to enroll in a vocational training course to complete units of study on electric cars, or for a qualified programmer to take a course in a higher education institution's bachelor degree in computer science, specifically designed to teach the programming language required for their new job. What are the objectives and benefits of micro-credentials? It provides certification of competencies acquired through short-term training. It supports learners' individual learning and career path. It provides opportunity for disadvantaged groups as well, and it ensures to meet the challenges of the green and digital transitions with updating skills. In Hungary, we have a quite detailed regulation related to micro-credentials. In 2023, we had a government decision on the implementation of the European Year of Skills 2023 program and related tasks. In this decision, the government calls on the Minister for Culture and Innovation, in the framework of his responsibility for adult education, to develop a detailed concept on the development of a national framework for micro-credentials. In Hungary, the adult learning sector is responsible for development of micro-credentials. These micro-credentials are integrated into three main educational areas: vocational education and training. In VET, a certificate that includes a subject description but does not confer a formal qualification. It is a public document certifying the learning outcomes acquired through completing a professionally assessed subject in a vocational institution. Second is adult education and training. In this field, the micro-credentials is a certificate that includes a subject description and credit value. It is a public document certifying the learning outcomes acquired through completing a course, module, partial knowledge, or micro-training at a higher education institution. And the third is higher education. In this field, the micro-credential is a certificate that does not confer a formal qualification and is based on specific content and conditions. The training content for issuing the micro-credentials can be taught using vocational textbooks as per the vocational training law, provided the entire knowledge content of the textbook is covered. We also have a project with the OECD. The main objective is to develop a comprehensive micro-credential system for vocational education and training, higher education, and adult education and training to address labor market needs. With support from the OECD and the European Commission, our aim is to leverage micro-credentials to enhance participation in upskilling and reskilling initiatives. This project is designed to outline the methodology and the objectives involved. With a unique ambition, the system aims to harmonize the regulation of micro-credentials among vocational education and training, adult education and training, and higher education systems. The analytical report encompasses insights from interviews from Hungarian stakeholders and experiences obtained during peer exchanges with Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and the Netherlands. A synergy workshop was held to identify connections between individual learning accounts and the micro-credential system. The project's next objectives include summarizing pilot projects from the EU member states or OECD countries. Additionally, the development of IT standards is currently in progress to ensure alignment with the Hungarian IT systems. On the next couple of following slides, I will show you some data. In our vocational education system, we have a graduate tracking system. And with this system, our aim is to follow our students after they got the profession and to have data and information about their opinions to continuously develop our system. And this time we asked our students that, why did you choose VET? And the majority of responding students choose vocational education and training because here they can study something that interests them. Basically, that was a really simple answer, but it was a very, very important feedback for us. And there are many other answers as well. It's too small to read for me, sorry. But maybe you can read it, or maybe it's too small for you as well. Sorry for that. We also asked the graduates, what makes you feel successful in your work? And these are also really useful feedbacks. Maybe I'm come here. I think you can hear me like this.
Did you use the microphone for the viewers? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So the most popular answer was, makes me successful if I enjoy what I can do. Or when I see the results of my work. Or if I have time for friends and fun in addition to work. We are talking about students. If I am recognized, I will be praised at work. If I know that I can get a better position in time, if I know that I will be promoted, or if I can make a lot of money. These are really simple answers. This is one of the most important statistics what we have. We also, it wasn't a questionnaire. These are administrative data. So we have data on labor market status 1 year after leaving VET. And this is a national result. The blue one is the percentage of the working. So 51, let's say 52% of our students after leaving our system, after they have the profession, they work. It's really good. 27% of them studying and working. It is also very useful. And 16% of them still studying. They went towards higher education. Of course, there is another 4.5, but 0.1% of them, the job seekers. That's why it is one of the most important data for us. These slides come from the Education at a Glance OECD report from 2023. It shows the distribution of the 25-54 age group worldwide based on the highest level of education. This diagram shows the proportion of vocational education and training graduates compared to the total population. And here you can see that Hungary is in the 6th place. So we are getting proud of ourselves. In this OECD index that compares incomes, Hungary ranks also the 6th best in terms of the relative earnings of those with vocational education and training compared to those without secondary education. So it is beneficial to have a profession. And finally, in the age of 25-34, young Hungarians who have professional qualifications are in 3rd place in the world in terms of employment. Only Norway and Iceland are ahead of our country in this regard. Of course, it has many meanings, many reasons, many consequences. But for us, it also means that our trainings are fit perfectly to the labor market. So that was my last slide. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention.